The grand ballroom shimmered with golden light, chandeliers reflecting across polished marble floors. It was a place of wealth and power, a charity gala where the most influential business leaders gathered, sipping champagne as a string quartet played in the background. But in one quiet corner, leaning awkwardly against the wall in a cheap suit that was clearly too big for him, stood Daniel Hayes, a single father who had no idea how he had ended up in this world of wealth. Daniel wasn't a businessman. He wasn't a man of prestige or connections. He was just a janitor at a local community center, a widowed father who struggled every day to provide for his little daughter, Emily. He wasn't supposed to be here tonight. The only reason he had received an invitation was because Emily had been part of a children's choir sponsored by the CEO's company, and parents had been invited to watch them perform. Fate had a way of pulling ordinary men into extraordinary stories, and Daniel's story was about to begin with a single, unexpected question. CT if you're already hooked and want to hear more of Daniel's powerful journey. Don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Whispers of Kinness, so you never miss these heart-touching stories. As the children's choir finished their performance and polite applause echoed through the hall, people returned to their glasses of wine, their laughter, their conversations. Emily ran up to Daniel, her face glowing with joy, her hair tied neatly with the ribbon her mother had given her before she passed away. "Daddy, did you see me?" she whispered excitedly. "I saw you, sweetheart." Daniel smiled, kneeling to hug her. "Your mom would be so proud." But before Daniel could take Emily home, a sharp voice cut through the crowd. "Hey, janitor." Daniel froze. He hadn't worn a name tag, but somehow they knew. Standing at the front of a circle of wealthy donors was Victor Langford, the CEO himself, a tall man with perfect posture, tailored suit, and the kind of smile that always looked more like a smirk. Victor raised his glass. "Tell me, Daniel, is it true you used to play piano?" Daniel's chest tightened. He had played piano once, years ago, back when his wife was alive, back when they would sing lullabies to Emily together. But life had taken music away from him. He hadn't touched a piano since his wife's funeral. "Yes," Daniel said quietly. Victor chuckled. "Then why don't you play for us now? The grand piano is right there." The room turned. A spotlight of silence landed on Daniel. Everyone was watching, the wealthy, the powerful, the judgmental. And Daniel knew what this was. It wasn't an invitation. It was a test, a joke, a way for the CEO to show that a man like Daniel, a janitor, didn't belong here. Emily clutched his hand. "Daddy, you don't have to," she whispered, but Daniel saw something in her eyes. Hope, curiosity, belief. He stood slowly and walked toward the piano. His hands trembled as he sat before the polished keys. Memories rushed back. The smell of his wife's hair as she leaned against his shoulder while he played. The sound of Emily's tiny laugh when he tapped playful notes. The silent nights after she passed, when the piano became a ghost in the corner of their home. The crowd waited for him to fail. And then Daniel began to play. At first the notes were uncertain, fragile, like a man stepping onto ice that might break beneath him. But then something shifted. His hands found their rhythm, weaving through melodies that came not from sheet music, but from his soul. He played the song his wife had loved the most, the song they had danced to on their wedding night, the song she had whispered she wanted him to play if he ever needed to remember her. The music filled the ballroom. Soft at first, then swelling, wrapping around the crowd like a blanket of memory and longing. Conversations stopped, glasses stilled, and even Victor Langford, the man who had issued the challenge, found his smirk fading into something else. His eyes glistened, because music has a way of breaking through walls that even money cannot protect. As Daniel played, he wasn't just a janitor anymore. He was a husband who had loved deeply, a father who carried the weight of loss and hope, a man who had once been broken but still found beauty in the pieces. Every note carried pain but also healing. Every chord was a prayer, every pause a heartbeat. When the final note lingered and died, the ballroom was silent. No applause, no mockery, just silence thick with emotion. Then slowly someone began to clap. Another joined, and then the entire hall rose to their feet, applauding not a performance, but a story told through music. Victor Langford remained seated, staring at the man he had tried to humiliate. He lifted his glass again, but this time there was no smirk, only quiet respect. Afterward, people approached Daniel, shaking his hand, thanking him for reminding them what true beauty felt like. But Daniel didn't hear most of it. All he saw was Emily, standing in the crowd, her little eyes shining with pride. "You were amazing, Daddy," she whispered, hugging him tightly. For the first time in years, Daniel felt the heaviness inside him lift. He had not just played a piano tonight. He had played his way back to himself. And even Victor, the CEO, walked over quietly. His voice was softer than before. "That was extraordinary, Daniel. Thank you." But Daniel only smiled faintly and held Emily's hand, because he hadn't played for Victor. He hadn't played for the crowd. He had played for the woman he loved, and for the little girl who gave him strength every day. CTA. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness for more inspiring true-to-life stories. In the end, the grand ballroom returned to its glitter and chatter, but Daniel walked out with Emily, carrying nothing but her hand in his and the faint memory of the song still lingering in the air. And though the world had tried to make a joke of him, he had left behind a truth no one in that room would ever forget, that sometimes the most powerful music comes not from skill or fame, but from a heart that has known both love and loss, and still chooses to sing.